Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. From the banks of the Ohio, the Great American Ballpark tonight, it's game number 2. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. It was one of the toughest losses of the year last night for the Cardinals. They'll turn the page. Look ahead to game number 2 tonight. That's Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. And Michael Wacha gets the call here in game 2.
Yeah, Michael Wacha, the big horse, has had a lot of success against the Reds in the past. Last time he faced them, it was in St. Louis in late April, and he pitched very effectively in that ball game. Lifetime, he's 5-1. In his most recent start, it was down in Miami. He won that ball game, and maybe the biggest takeaway was the fact it was the first time all season long that he did not walk a batter, and that's very important in this small ballpark.
Cody Reed gets the call tonight for the Reds. Michael Wacha for St. Louis. It's an offensive ballpark. Does it carry over to game 2? We're about to find out. Reds and Cardinals coming up. Back in Cincinnati, the Great American Ballpark, just about set to go with our first pitch here for game number 2. At times this year, the Cardinals have dealt with injuries. That's the case now here in early August, but they did get a couple of familiar faces back in their lineup yesterday. Johnny Peralta went 1 for 3 with a double, and there you see Brandon Moss, couple of extra base hits. Included in there was a home run. Peralta is in the lineup tonight. He'll play shortstop for the Cardinals. Hitting in front of him, batting 5th, Brandon Moss. He's at first base. Moss, Peralta, and the rest of the gang here for game number 2. Michael Wacha against Cody Reed. Reds and Cardinals coming up. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Statue of Tony Perez just outside the Great American Ballpark, one of the leaders of the Big Red Machine. Along with Al Raboski and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. 85 degrees, muggy here in the Queen City. It'll be Cody Reed getting the call tonight for Cincinnati. Here's the Cardinals lineup. Pham in the top spot, followed by Jerko, who homered last night. Then Stephen Piscotty, Matt Holliday, Moss, Peralta, Molina. Yachty is riding a 16-game hitting streak. Then Greg Garcia, and the pitcher batting ninth, Michael Wacha. There's a look at Cody Reed, 6'5", 225 pounds, came over in the Johnny Cueto deal from Kansas City. And the first pitch is strike, and we are underway.
He has turned 23 years of age on tax day. Born in Memphis, lives in Tennessee. And they say he really has the best slider in their system. He was the second best prospect in the Reds farm system.
There's a base hit for Tommy Pham out to left. Pham had a home run last night as well. Most of his hits recently have gone for extra bases. The Hyundai pitch arsenal here on Cody Reed. Fastball, slider, and change. Lost to the Giants in his last start. 6 runs, 5 earned, and 3 of those runs came off the bat of Giants pitcher Matt Cain.
You know, they talk about that he's got the great slider, but they also say that he drops his hand, not his elbow, but his hand, and so that slider flattens out and stays in the hitting zone.
That's well hit. Right past Suarez, down into the corner. Pham on his way to third, dug out by Duvall, and it's a double for Jed Jerko. Jerko swinging one of the hottest bats in all of baseball. Last 15 games, 8 home runs, 12 RBIs.
Also got 3 home runs on this road trip. But there he buggy whips this ball right inside the third base bag. It's a double. And with Pham's leadoff single, the Cardinals got business going. But you got to capitalize it and come on home.
So runners at first and second for one of the game's best in terms of average with runners in scoring position. And that is Stephen Piscotty. He's hitting .285 with 14 home runs. He's driven in 59. The infield is back, and the first pitch is swung on and missed.
Piscotty, a little mild 2-game hitting streak, 2 for 8 during that time, but on the road trip just 2 for 20, as he had his first real prolonged slump earlier on this road trip.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. 0-2. He hit leadoff last night. That was the 9th different player this year to hit leadoff for the Cardinals. 6th time in franchise history that the Redbirds have done that with 9 different leadoff men. Steven debuted July 21st of last year, and his average at .395 with runners in scoring position. So early on in his big league career, he has been a money player.
And very consistent. And we talk about his intellect, but his baseball IQ is right there equal to it, and has the ability to make adjustments inside and a bat.
1 ball, 2 strikes on the Cardinals right fielder, taps it foul. He's also given the Cardinals a little versatility late in games with a lot of the changes that Mike Matheny will use. Steven has shown he can play center field, primarily been the right fielder this year.
Remember also we saw last year he could play first base, but not really needed this year. But as you said, you never know in a pinch.
So here's a 1-2 pitch to Piscotty. Evens it up at 2-2. Cardinals have dropped 3 straight. Final 2 in Miami. Devastating loss last night. They've been outscored 23-9 in their last 3 games. The 2-2 pitch to Piscotty. Taken high. Matt Holliday is on deck. He's in the cleanup spot.
And I think it's really frustrating for the Cardinals, as they should have won the game Sunday in Miami. A missed play out in left field, left center to end the ball game. And last night's ball game, as Mike Matheny said, he had with a 1-run lead going into the 9th. He'll take that any time.
3-2 pitch. Little check swing, and that's back to Reed. All of a sudden, Pham is in a rundown. He'll try to stay in this rundown to allow Piscotty to get to second base, and he does so.
Well, that's it. Once you make that false move, you got to wait and see that ball get by the pitcher. But he stayed in the rundown long enough to trade places. So Jerko goes to third, Piscotty out to second base, and you got the same scenario with just 1 out.
You know, this relay here was 1 extra throw. They could have just run back Tommy Pham to the bag at third.
Yeah, you run him all the way back right there, because you'd have 2 guys at the base. And then we see a lot of times guys don't know which one really possesses that base, and sometimes you get a double play.
1-5-2-6. And with 1 out, it brings in Holliday. Much better hitter on the road. Overall, .236 is average. 18 home runs. He's driven in 59. There's strike 1. As Al mentioned, Cody Reed came in as the 2nd top-rated prospect by Baseball America, behind Robert Stevenson, who's a right-handed pitcher. We've heard a lot about him the last couple of years. Number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nope, it hits Holliday, so the base is loaded.
I was talking to Walt Jocketty about Reed, and he said we probably should have left him down at AAA a little longer, but they wanted to see him, so we bring him up. But it's tough when you bring up a kid and put him right into the rotation. He might have got the back foot or back leg.
Brandon Moss activated from the DL yesterday as he went 3 for 5. Home run number 18. Bases are loaded. And what an opportunity here in the top of the first for the Cardinals. First pitch is taken for a ball.
Brandon Moss, a little tongue-in-cheek with our old Jim Hayes, or should I say James. But he said, I expect to get 3 hits every game.
All right.
I said tongue-in-cheek.
Cardinals would take that, wouldn't they?
Oh, sure. So would Moss. And the funny thing was he was 0 for 8 on his rehab from the ankle injury. And then he comes up and smokes the ball so well last night.
Little check swing, and he did go. That's that slider. So you could see why that Cody Reed would be very tough on left-handed hitters. Reds have lost all 7 games that he has started.
His first game, you know, his debut, he went 7 innings in that ball game, got a no decision.
2-2.
And he's only had one other assignment where he pitched deep into a ball game, but very, very hittable.
Bases loaded. 2 balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the first for Brandon Moss. Spoils the pitch. Take you back to last night. So as Al mentioned, in the minor leagues went hitless, but not back up in the big leagues. This ballpark will see its fair share of home runs, and we saw that in game 1 of this series. That was number 18 off the bat of Moss.
Ties Holiday now for the team lead with 18 home runs.
And that's hit out of play. Reds defensively presented by Dobbs around the horn. Duvall, Holt, Schebler, the walk-off home run last night in right. Suarez, DeJesus Jr., Phillips and Votto on the right side. Barnhart is behind the plate.
It looks like in left and center they're playing fairly shallow for a guy that has the pop that Moss does, but usually if you hit it well, it'll carry in this ballpark.
Used to watching Billy Hamilton play very deep for the Reds. His speed will make up for how deep he plays. And now it's 3-2 with the bases loaded and 1 out. And there's a look at Hamilton. Not very good numbers against Wacha, so he sits. 3-2 pitch. Driven in the gap out to left center field. This ball is off the base of the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes another. Holiday held up at third, and Brandon Moss makes it 2-0 St. Louis here in the top of the first.
Well, we talked about they were playing shallow, but he plugged the gap out in left center, and they got to the carom off the wall perfectly and got it back in. So Brandon Moss continues his hot hitting, and the RBIs are more important. It's a little 5-game hitting streak for him now. He had 3 games before he went on the DL.
And here is Johnny Peralta hitting .224 with 5 home runs, 14 driven in. He will see the bulk of the playing time at shortstop with Diaz out. Infield is drawn in. First pitch taken for a ball.
Well, you could just get in a lot of trouble in this ballpark playing your infield in. Johnny was 1 for 3 last night, his return.
Well, the one thing you'd love to see out of Brandon Moss in that at bat was fooled with the slider, swung through it, little check swing, and then swung through it, but then saw another slider, fouled it back, worked the count full, then takes it the opposite way. Good at bat. 2 balls and 1 strike on Peralta.
Brandon really is, you know, now that we know that he's healthy with that surgically repaired hip before last season, but it's really nice to see him drive the ball the way he has. And
2-1 pitch. Now 2-2. The outfield straight away here for Johnny Peralta. Fresh off the DL, Peralta, Moss inserted back in the lineup. Peralta the RBI double in the 6th inning.
One of the other byproducts is the Cardinals are getting that pitch count up. Anytime you can get into that bullpen, the sooner the better.
Puts the ball in play, infield in, backhanded, and the tag at the plate. Nicely done by Ivan De Jesus Jr.
Like I said, playing the infield in pays off.
At this ballpark. That's not an easy play that he just made.
No, and you got to get that short hop. He backhands it, comes in, got a momentum going. You got to fire a strike to the plate. And they made it look very easy. Made it look like his daddy.
He was a good one. Yadier Molina, 16-game hitting streak. He's hit .367 during the streak. 11 extra base hits. Currently the longest streak along with Votto in baseball. That pitch taken inside. This is a good matchup for Molina, and I say that because I was looking at what he's done against left-handed pitching coming into this game. He has swung and missed at just 2 of the last 41 pitches against left-handers that he's seen. Think about that.
And that is hard to believe, isn't it?
It is.
I was watching Yadi in batting practice, and early in his batting practice session, he was just taking everything to right field. You know, deliberately letting the ball get deep, hands inside the ball, and just flaring the ball down there. He must have hit about 6 in a row that, because he's a right-hand hitter, sliced into foul territory that would have been doubles. And that's what you like to see rather than a guy just trying to hit home runs in batting practice.
The 2-1 pitch with runners at first and third. Taken inside. 3-1. Greg Garcia on deck.
Used to love to watch Ted Simmons hit. And he would almost accentuate hitting down on the ball. Down on the ball, trying to get that line drive stroke, backspin.
That ball scoots away. Moss will stay put at third. Advancing, though, that is Peralta puts himself in scoring position. So the walk to Yadier Molina, and the bases will be loaded.
Off of Barnhart's glove, but it was ball 4, so bases loaded again.
Greg Garcia is hitting .291, and already a visit out on the mound for Cody Reed. Well, this is what you like to see after one of the toughest losses, if not the toughest loss of the season last night for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and a good point right here. You see Jennings out there, started the season as the bullpen pitching coach, and they let Mark Riggins go, and probably unfair to Mark with his pitching staff. And Jenkins became the pitching coach, and Ted Power, who had been 11 years at Louisville as the pitching coach, is now down in the bullpen.
So 2 outs, bases loaded. First pitch to Garcia. Hit up the middle, base hit. Past Phillips. 2 runs will score, and it's 4-0 Cardinals here in the first inning. Greg Garcia, all he does is produce. RBIs 14 and 15. He finds a way, and this time, with the bases loaded, a single into center field.
You know, the pitching coach comes out there, and I'm sure he's saying, hey, you know, trust your stuff. Don't try and be so fine. So as a hitter, Greg Garcia says, I'm looking for a pitch right here, something I can take up the middle, and does a great job driving in 2 runs. And you're absolutely right, Danny. You know, we talk about after a tough loss, the momentum is only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. Well, there's starting pitcher hadn't been too good, and the Cardinal hitters have been even better.
So the Cardinals will at least send 9 to the plate, and already Smith, the right-hander, that's Josh Smith, getting loose in the pen. Michael Wacha hitting .028 this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. 35 pitches here in the first inning. Chopped to short. And a flip to Phillips. Big inning for the Cardinals. The Cardinals pick up 4 runs. Greg Peralta and Moss, a key double in the gap in left center to score 2. Then Garcia with the bases loaded, a single to score 2 more. 4-0 St. Louis. And already a 2-0 lead. Greg Garcia singling up the middle, almost caught Tom Hallion, our crew chief and second base umpire, and Greg Garcia taking his position, talking there with Tom, said thank you very much for getting out of the way.
Would have hit him, it would have been a base hit, but he wouldn't have got the 2 RBIs.
So Garcia at second base here tonight. Colton Wong with the lefty on the mound sits. There's a look at Tyler Holt, the leadoff hitter for Cincinnati, followed by Eugenio Suarez. Then Joey Votto reached base safely in his last 7 plate appearances. Adam Duvall, 26 home runs. Brandon Phillips, Scott Schebler, Ivan De Jesus Jr., Tucker Barnhart, switch hitting catcher, and Cody Reed, the pitcher, batting 9th. Michael Wacha gets the call for the Cardinals. He beat the Marlins in his last start, 3 runs in 6 innings. That was a 5-4 win.
He's actually got a 4-game win streak. 4-1 in his last 9 outings against the Reds. He's 5-1 with a 1.84 ERA. And here in this explosive ballpark, he's 3-1 with an ERA of 2. And he's held the Reds to a 185 average.
And the first pitch is taken for a ball. I mentioned that Billy Hamilton not in this lineup. Hamilton 1 for 20 against Michael Wacha, so it's Holt in center field. 1 ball, 1 strike. Holt was picked up off of waivers from Cleveland in September of 2015. A little tardy with that swing, and it's 1-2.
Seeing when Michael Wacha takes advantage of his 6'6" frame and throws on a downward plane, maybe later in the at bat, you know, it's a strikeout pitch, you'll try and elevate some to get the punch out. This will be the cutter.
And it's hit out of play. Many fans, Al, disguised as seats here at the Great American Ballpark.
Talking with Marty Brenneman about last night's game, and if you didn't have a vested interest, it was a heck of a baseball game. If you're a Cardinal fan, it would left you very frustrated.
1-2 pitch. There's the changeup hit sharply to third and off the glove of Jerko. That was one of the issues that he had in his previous start. He was bouncing the changeup, couldn't get a real good feel for it. Then he left some of those up. We saw that pitch hammered.
And remember, he retired 15 of the first 16 batters, but then, you know, he got and he kind of ran into a wall and gave up the 3 runs. Another pitch up, eats up Jerko.
And it brings in Suarez. 17 home runs. He has driven in 48 this year. What you think about with Michael Wacha is if he can get that ground ball. This is a ground ball staff for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals have turned double plays in the tune of the top 5 of Major League Baseball.
Seemed like he gets as many ground ball outs as some of the other Cardinal starters. You know, when he does, you know, he's that much more effective. I thought about his last start, he didn't walk a batter the first time all season. That's so important in this little ballpark.
Here's a 1-1 pitch, and the breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Molina. The Hyundai pitch arsenal, the fastball, the changeup, which he's been using a little bit more often here in the last month or so, the cutter, and a curveball.
I think that's good news when he uses the changeup more frequently. I thought he got in a pattern. Remember when he first came up, he was a 2-pitch pitcher. Very good fastball, very good changeup. And he started incorporating more curveballs, and that became another pitch that a hitter had to worry about. But then it seemed like they get cutter happy.
3-1 pitch, a fly ball into right center. This ball will drop in front of Tommy Pham. Holt rounding second, read it perfectly, and runners at the corners, nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
Bring up the hottest hitter in all of baseball right now after this base hit. You see another pitch that's knocked down up in the middle of the plate. Slice away from Tommy Pham, coming off the bat of the right-handed batter. Joey Votto has a 16-game hitting streak, but he's hit over 500, 519 since the All-Star break.
Runners at first and third. It's been amazing to watch Votto as he chokes up on the bat, not only with his base hits, but finding a way to get on base. 577 the on base percentage his last 22 games. League average at 323. And he's also finding a way to score runs. 18 runs scored during this 16-game hitting streak. So he does a little bit of everything, including writing some thank you notes and apologetic notes to fans. He missed it last night. He had a little skirmish with a fan in terms of a pop-up that was in the front row of the seats. Was upset with the fan and then later apologized and called the fan this morning, talked again at length. So it's a dead issue here now, but he handled it right in terms of saying, look, it was my fault, my mistake, caught up in the moment, and I take full responsibility for it.
He said it was very uncharacteristic of me to react the way he did. And sure, they're man in the red, but that ball ends up in his glove. And he kind of grabs the logo like, hey, I thought you were a Reds fan. He wrote an apology on a baseball and handed it to him and then took pictures with him. There you see. There's a good pitch from Wacha.
2-2. That was the changeup.
Yep.
Votto got off to a very slow start. Chokes up on the bat even more with 2 strikes to put the ball in play. 3-2 the count. Adam Duvall is on deck. He's such an intriguing guy when you think about Votto. He can hit for average. Certainly at this ballpark can hit for power, but he gets on base at an amazing clip. All the walks, the runs scored. 3-2 the count. Suarez is running and the pitch is hit to the right side. 17-game hitting streak for Votto as the Reds get on the board. 3 singles in a row. It's now 4-1.
The Reds going first to third on those singles was something they don't do that frequently. But gets the ball down. He bounces through the right side for the base hit and an RBI. 17-game hitting streak now. That's his 54th RBI. They're right back in the game now.
Adam Duvall, 3 home runs in his last 6 games, a total of 26 this year. Second in the National League to Trevor Story, who is out and injured, could be done for the year.
With all these thumb injuries.
Yep. Diaz a thumb injury, Story the thumb injury, and the Rockies are playing very good baseball right now too. Colorado's starting play tonight, or at least this afternoon, 3.5 games back in the wild card. Cardinals a half game out of that second spot. 1 ball, 1 strike. A Reds win tonight would give them their 6th consecutive series win. They hadn't won consecutive series prior to this run. You would think that from a Cincinnati team that has traded Jay Bruce and all the players that were here at the beginning of the season a year ago.
And think about it this way, Dan. Right now, the Cardinals and Reds are tied with the same amount of home wins, 25.
Well, if the Cardinals go into postseason play or want to get there, that has to change. It was a good changeup. Swung on and missed by Duvall. First strikeout, first out recorded by Michael Wacha. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks.
So out in front, big power hitter like Duvall, that's probably the best pitch you can throw him is that changeup.
Brings in Phillips, just 4 for 25 off of Michael Wacha, no extra base hits. Well, they say sometimes the best steals are the ones you do not make. And Washington is thankful for that. Dusty Baker wanted Brandon Phillips. He's a 5- and 10-year player. 10 years of Major League service. 5 consecutive years with the same team, so he controls his fate. Rejected a deal to Washington, and then signing late was Daniel Murphy, and he may be the MVP this year.
Yeah. Leading the league in hitting.
Daniel Murphy, the player of the month in July in the National League.
Remember, last year in spring training, we were talking about the Mets look like they have no intentions of re-signing Daniel Murphy. Then he had the playoff with all the home runs and still didn't convince the Mets to re-sign him. And after the rejection, as you said, of Phillips, all of a sudden he signs with the Nationals.
Hit out of play.
Kind of tough when the club wants to get rid of you and you don't want to go and you still hang around.
0-2 pitch. Ground ball that is backhanded by Jerko. Out at second. Turned by Garcia. Not in time. Run scores to make it 4-2.
Surprising the Cardinals made it as close as it was at first base. Jerko got another tough hop and throwing on the run to second base. He backhanded it, take several steps towards the outfield grass, then he feed to Garcia. It was a little bit low and threw off the timing a little bit for Greg Garcia, and he didn't have as much on the throw, but that was a lot closer at first than I thought it would be.
Here is the hero from last night, Scott Schebler. He hit that home run a ton. He takes a mighty cut. It's the second home run of the year. Came off of Seung-Hwan Oh. Cardinals have lost 3 in a row coming into play, and back-to-back games in walk-off fashion. Runner at first is Brandon Phillips, 5 stolen bases this year. Ground ball sharply hit past the diving Moss, just under his glove. And Phillips on his way to third. 4 hits in the inning off of Michael Wacha.
Schebler came over from the White Sox in the Todd Frazier deal. He was here, he broke with the ball club, but got off to a terrible start under 200 and was sent down the minor leagues and kind of got his stroke going again. And then he was recalled yesterday as part of the replacing Jay Bruce. And boy, he made his impact known.
Jay Bruce now with the Mets, and Ivan De Jesus will dig in. Zach Cozart dealing with a thumb issue. He's 10 for 20 off of Michael Wacha, so Cardinals catch a break with Cozart out. So Phillips, your runner at third base, and we've seen this 3 times in this inning. Fewest times going first to third. Reds on this list, the Cardinals as well. And that's popped foul and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. That pitch down in the zone. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
You see Wacha, we talk about when the ball gets up, it gets hit up over the middle of the plate. Holt, now Suarez. He gets the ball out there. Schebler found that one coming down, but that's why he's gotten in trouble. When he first showed up on the scene in 2013, everything was down. Or if he got it up, it was up above the shoulders. You know, a purpose pitch later in a count to get a strikeout. But so many of his pitches now are on that flat plane and staying up in the middle of the plate.
30 first inning pitches here for Michael Wacha. Reed at 37, and watch out. Lined into the seats, 3-2 the count. Tucker Barnhart is on deck.
A lot of times in this ballpark, you don't get rewarded for good pitches. But we're seeing most of these pitches are in an area where they should be hit.
Runner from first off with his pitch. That is Schebler, the 3-2. Chop left side. There's Jed Jerko across the diamond. Reds get on the board after the Cardinals picked up 4 runs in the top half of the first. Cincinnati with 2 in the bottom half. 4-2 our score. Busy tomorrow. 6 is a serious number on the run. Cardinals score 6. Any size drink, just 50 cents the next day. That's coffee fountain, frozen drinks. When they score, you pour at your nearest on the run. You earned it. Reed and Wacha combined to throw 68 pitches. 8 hits in that first inning, 6 runs. A good old-fashioned American. Oh. Wait a minute. Here's Tommy Pham.
Graham yesterday joined that hit parade with a pinch hit home run, the 11th for the Cardinals this year, setting a new record, franchise record.
They've been sitting on 10 for a while.
Yeah. It's a record for the Cardinals. Now they can chase the major league record.
And the 0-2. This will be interesting to see what the Cardinals do here in the next, let's say, 7 to 10 days. You've got Cincinnati well below 500. Atlanta coming up. Then Cincinnati back home. That's it out of play. If you are a team that heads to postseason play, you win at home, and you have to beat up on these types of teams.
No doubt about it. You have to win these games. And that's really been the success of the Cardinals the last few years. They just dominated in the Central Division, and then they played a little above 500 against everybody else.
The 2-2. Backhanded at third. Suarez, a long throw, strong throw to Votto. Brings in Jed Jerko with 1 out and nobody on. Jerko doubled inside the third base line and came around to score on the double by Brandon Moss. Ball 1. What a job that Jed Jerko has done filling in for whether it be Aledmys Diaz, Matt Carpenter, Colton Wong, at times at first. I think I've noticed, Al, and I think we saw it when he was with San Diego against the Cardinals because he put up big numbers, but he has a very quick bat.
Yes, he does, especially fastballs. You know, you should never, as a pitching staff, you try to avoid that situation where you have to come in with a fastball in the strike zone.
Jed Jerko now with 15 home runs. That was the breaking ball there. Those 15 home runs, 1 shy of what he hit a year ago.
But you see, it's a hanging breaking ball.
I also think he's done a nice job defensively. He's shown soft hands.
I think that's he's done better than I think some people thought. I'm included in that. But you know, he really is fulfilling the role that he was signed for. Remember, Wong was supposed to be the everyday second baseman, and then he was supposed to fill in around the infield. Probably getting a lot more playing time than he thought. And he's making the most of it.
On the bench tonight, Wong, Adams, Hazelbaker from the left side, Rosario from the right side. So just a 4-man bench. There's a look at Colton Wong.
I talked to Randall Grichuk yesterday at the hotel. He was sent down, and you know, he knew he needed to go down. You know, you don't want to be up here if you're not playing every day. He's too young. He's too talented. So he's going down with the right attitude. Go down there and regroup and figure out things. And
pulled again to Suarez. Long throw again. Strong throw again. 2 down.
Right about that throwing on Suarez.
Just twice he's shown it off.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think a little bit of Scott Rowland.
Well, we saw Piscotty in the leadoff position last night. A lot of interchangeable parts, but does not seem to be a set lineup night after night.
And I think Mike Matheny would love to have a set lineup, but due to injuries, guys not available, you know, you've had to kind of mix and match, and you see almost a different lineup every day.
1-0 pitch is taken low, 2 balls and no strikes.
And a lot of inconsistencies from some of the offensive players, so you always mix and match in that lineup.
Popped up into center field. This will be the 3rd out. The catch is made by Tyler Holt. So 1-2-3 for Cody Reed. midway through 2, and it's 4-2 St. Louis. We check in for the first time tonight with Jim Hayes, and Jimmy, Tyler Lyons is on the DL.
Yeah, the 15-day DL, Dan, with a right knee stress reaction. Mike Matheny telling me that he found out about Lyons' knee issues about a week ago. He says it wasn't one outing or one incident, just something that was kind of building over time for Tyler. He says Lyons is going to need some time off his feet to, quote, let that reaction calm down. Dan, Mike said that Tyler's knee played a part in his decision to start Jaime Garcia on short rest on Saturday instead of Lyons. Dean Keykefer recalled Dan Dean was just sent down, but actually never left Cincinnati, so he didn't have to pack his bags.
All right, good for Dean. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Barnhart. Breaking ball taken high. He's a switch hitter. 6 home runs, with 4 of the 6 coming from this side of the plate. The 2-1 pitch, hit on the ground to second. Garcia, first out here in the bottom half. Well, it makes all the sense now in the world as to why you started Garcia on short day's rest, and unfortunately for Lyons, he'll miss some time.
Yeah, I guess interesting though that they brought Tyler in when Garcia was ineffective, and he had problems too. I guess his only other option was really Jerome Williams, but he has not seen him pitch yet.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Make it 0-2.
Came in that ball game later on and pitched pretty well, but if my memory's right, Mike Matheny caught Williams when they were both with the Giants.
He did. Jerome faced a Cardinal lineup that featured Bo Hart in it. So he's been around for a while.
Must be a legend.
The 0-2. And it's a second strikeout for Michael Wacha. So we'll see if these starting pitchers now settle in. Cardinals defense around the horn, presented by Dobbs. Holiday in left. Pham in center. Piscotty is in right. Jerko, Peralta, Garcia, and Moss on the infield. And Yadier Molina is behind the plate. There's Tyler Holt, who singled off the glove of Jed Jerko back in the first inning. It's going to be interesting to see teams like Cincinnati, how quickly they can rebuild. The prospects that they picked up, are they legitimate? You just don't know. Same thing goes for the Yankees. Everybody talking about all the deals that they made and restocking the farm system. You just don't know. There is Joey Jocketty on the left. the son of the general manager, or at least now the head of baseball operations, Walt Jocketty. I thought it was a great moment in St. Louis the night of the '06 championship team that he was back, and here he is working for the Reds, and yet recognized as the architect along with Mo of that team, and had a nice warm reception from the crowd.
I remember too is seeing Tony La Russa and Walt Jocketty lead that cheer for Adam Wainwright with his big shutout.
Adam Wainwright last night. There's been so much talk in St. Louis, and understandably so, about the double switches and what moves were made, what moves maybe shouldn't have been made. But the bottom line is, at least one thing is for certain: Adam Wainwright needs to go more than 5 innings.
And that's the first thing that Adam said, you know, that I didn't do my part. And we've talked about Adam so much, and the fact that he really doesn't feel like he's done his part unless he goes 7+ innings. Going 5 innings is what, just think about, you know, if he would have saved one inning more, what that would have done for the bullpen arms.
Nice play made by a fan below us. 2 outs and a runner at first. Eugenio Suarez, a base hit, run scored back in the first. I think it's to the point now, Al, that so many pitchers feel they put together a quality start. It's a good night.
Yeah, that's a bad way to look at things.
No doubt.
You know, we used to make fun of somebody that would be 5 and fly, and you know, meaning qualify for a win and then get your butt out of there, you know, take the rest of the night off. Well, that's not really doing your job.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Lifted in the air. Out to center with room. Tommy Pham, and makes the catch. Reds strand a runner. They have left 3 on. We have played 2. Cardinals on top 4-2. Leaderboard. Aledmys Diaz hit by Andrew Cashner over the weekend. Initially, we were thinking, well, maybe he misses a game or 2, if at all. He's going to miss considerable time with that hairline fracture of the thumb. And unfortunately for the Cardinals, it's one of their best options in the field, despite the errors, getting much better, but certainly at the plate. And it is a ball to Holiday. That is a major loss for Mike Matheny's club.
And I was talking with Derek May, the assistant hitting coach today, about hitters rarely get pitched inside, so they don't, you know, think of that possibility. And you know, remember where Holiday was hit in the nose by Cashner, the same guy that broke the thumb. But it's so rare that you get pitched inside now. Guys don't really know how to get out of the way, or at least go up there thinking that they could be hit.
I wonder if Stanton went up there thinking he's going to be hit by Carlos Martinez in the first after Diaz was hit. The history recent with Cashner and Holiday. You know, sometimes it's taken care of later in the game, spring training, later in the year, whatever the case may be. And for my money, I know Tim didn't feel this way. I thought Martinez was sending a message.
Well, Timmy and I are the same era. He was a little bit longer, you know, before me, but you know, we both pitched at that one time where pitchers intimidated hitters, and yet I could see Timmy's point very well, because a lot of times you would never do anything to retaliate that would cost you a game. You pick your spot later on in the season, or maybe where it wasn't quite so obvious. But it does seem like today that it's almost instant retaliation. And I don't know if there's one way that's right or wrong, but you can really get in some real problems in the clubhouse if pitchers don't defend your hitters.
We've seen it before where a pitcher will come into the dugout and say, hey man, you're going to get me and other guys in here hurt. You got to be careful with what you're doing. One of us is going to get plunked, and we know it. Holiday, a base hit the other way. Schebler is over. Holiday thinking too, and he is out. Strong throw by Scott Schebler in right field. Looked to the naked eye that Holiday was out. He's telling the Cardinals to take a longer look at it.
Schebler comes up, the hitting star last night. See a defensive role. I think he is safe, but apparently they don't agree with it. And there's why there's no replay.
It's a different story in right field now with no Jay Bruce and his good arm.
Well, Schebler apparently isn't that slouch of an arm either.
So now it's Brandon Moss, RBI double that scored 2 back in the first. That got the Cardinals on the board, and then it was Greg Garcia, 2-out bases loaded single that scored 2.
You know, in spring training, Mike Matheny really emphasized everybody taking the extra base. And the idea is to find your limit during the regular season. That the Cardinals would run into a tremendous amount of outs on the base paths.
Up and in. Holiday may have slipped. Let's take a look here. Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, if you do that, though, you know, you throw off your timing. Sometimes you got to stop.
Here's a 2-1. That's driven out to center field. Holt is going back, and it's off the wall. Moss digging for second base and standing up with his second double of the night.
Just hitting a home run by about 3 or 4 feet. It's 16 doubles now for Moss. He was 3 for 5 last night. Now he's got 2 hits here today. Every hitter likes to get his arms extended. Moss does so, and see how high off the wall it hits.
And it brings in Peralta. Scored a run back in the first. And looks at a strike. Here the Cardinals be interested to know what their thought is with the Brandon Moss, free agent to be. Might think about him and a qualifying offer for next year.
That's 2 times that Barnhart has missed a ball. One time it was ball 4, but this one here allows Brandon Moss to go from second to third and just 1 out. That's a big play.
Say pass ball.
Pass ball all the way.
So if Holiday does not get thrown out, Cardinals have added to their lead. Instead, it's 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike, infield in, inside again to Peralta. We saw last night that's how the Reds wanted to approach his at bats with that sore hand. Let's test him out, pitch him in.
That's about the only thing that we wanted to know in the old days. Didn't have information accessible to us, but if we knew a guy had been out with a hand injury, you wanted to work him in. Whether he had a leg injury, certain things. But never saw a stats pack in the clubhouse.
Ground ball that's hit to short, backhanded again. Avante Jesus, almost identical to what we saw in the first inning. So that's twice the Cardinals have had a situation with a runner at third and less than 2 outs and have not been able to bring him in because the infield was drawn in.
3 runners thrown out on the base paths. The first one that you talked to, it was very similar to that one, was, you know, you had to do it, bases loaded. Or that was the one where they run down, so it just exchanged runners at second and third.
Both times with Johnny Peralta at the plate. So he stands at first base, and here is Yadier Molina. Votto has extended his hitting streak to 17, and Molina trying to match that. Walked back in the first inning. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Molina.
And isn't it interesting? But was it Sunday, the first or second day that Diaz wore the shield?
Yep.
Preventative, like Yachty, you know, not to, you know, get hit in the face and everything, but yet.
Molina to third, Suarez to Phillips at second base. Midway through 3, and it's 4-2 Cardinals. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. And by your local Volkswagen dealer. Cloudy sky here in Cincinnati at the Great American Ballpark. Very muggy as we play in game 2. Along with Al Raboski and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And our score is 4-2 in favor of the St. Louis Cardinals. Joey Votto has now reached in his last 8 straight plate appearances. RBI single back in the first. Average is now up to .295. Breaking ball on the first pitch taken for a strike.
Votto's on pace to lead the National League in on-base percentage for the 5th time in his 9 full seasons. Sometimes they have criticized Joey. He's got a big $100 million plus contract. They criticize him that he would rather win the on-base percentage rather than a title or batting title or a home run championship.
Where do you stand on this?
I got to have him drive in runs.
Well, I would say this: game on the line, late inning situations, I want him to expand his zone. You know, I want him to drive in runs.
Yeah,
then.
win the ball game then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's hard to say by getting on base you're not helping your team. But when he has the ability to really take over a ball game with his bat.
1-2 pitch. Tapped foul. There's no denying. I mean, he's a great player, great hitter. What adds to this, if you were saying, well, Joey Votto is making a nice chunk of money, but not 200+ million, it's not as big a deal probably. But when you're in the middle of the lineup, 200 million draws more attention to him.
And for a small market team. Homer Bailey is very critical of the Reds for trading off Jay Bruce, saying if you're in a rebuilding, a better player to rebuild yourself around with a guy like Jay Bruce.
Ground ball that's hit to first base, taken there by Moss. Votto, by the way, is signed through 2024. Let's turn to Al's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, it probably won't happen, but you need your starters to go deep in the game. We talked about it, and Adam Wainwright took full responsibility. You've got to go more than 5 innings, and you've got to go deep into the game to save your bullpen. But don't take the Reds lightly. As we've been saying, they've been playing very good baseball since the break and even a little longer. They can hit.
Out to left, and a sinking liner that's caught by Holiday. Takes a hit away from Adam Duvall, who is 0 for 2.
I don't think Holiday is much maligned for his defense, and he really has improved dramatically since when he first showed up. But I think everybody remembers that fly ball that he lost in the lights in the playoff game. Was it 2009 against the Dodgers?
2009.
And they keep on saying that's a reflection of him as a defensive player. It is not. He's become a very solid left fielder.
Here is Phillips with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch is hit out of play.
No, he doesn't have the speed of, say, like a Pham or Hazelbaker or Grichuk, one of those guys. And that's part of the reason why Mike Matheny, who some people get upset, does a double switch late in the ball game with a lead. But Holiday is a lot better than a lot of people give him credit for.
Hit up the middle and a base hit.
Talking about a perfectly placed ball.
That's it.
And it just looked like it was in slow motion, didn't it? Almost stopped his swing, and it just goes up the middle and finds a hole.
What a shock. Brandon Moss is talking to somebody. Here's Scott Schebler. We were asked before the game, what do you think about players on both sides, fraternization in the game and talking to each other, and now it's commonplace.
And there used to be an umpire. A member of the crew would sit in the stands during batting practice, and he would fine you if he saw you talking to the opposition longer than, say, 15, 20 seconds where you could say hello and some brief. Now they don't even bother with it.
There's extended conversations and hugs.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we used to be fined if you threw a ball in the stands. Where I think Major League Baseball has encouraged it, and it's a good thing. Try to win the fans over, but as you were saying, you were talking with Bill DeWitt, and how they used to count the balls.
Oh yeah.
Which the game in many ways was not handled as a business. It was kind of the hobby for some wealthy owners, and they really didn't abide by the business principles that made their companies attractive enough to where they could buy a club. Now it's big business, and rightfully so.
$9 billion with a B dollar business and rising. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. Our count is 2-2 with 2 outs and a runner at first. Scott Schebler at the plate. Singled under the glove of Brandon Moss, first time up. And Phillips is picked off. Wacha did that in that start back on April 17th when he picked off a Red, and now he gets Phillips. So Brandon Phillips picked off a first base. That sends us to the 4th inning. Cardinals with the lead of 4-2. Thousand kids ages 15 and younger entering with a ticket receive a replica Matt Carpenter batting practice jersey courtesy of Powerade and Shop and Save. Tickets are available at cardinals.com/promotions. Still some seats available for the 3 games this weekend against Atlanta, and then plenty of seats for Cincinnati. Off the end of the bat, a swinging bunt here for Garcia, and he's thrown out. Again, the arm of Suarez.
It's that kind of a swinging bunt right off the end of the bat. But Garcia didn't get a good jump out of the batter's box, and that's why he was thrown out. But usually the pitcher messes that up. And then when you got Suarez, if he can get to it with that throwing arm, let him have it.
He's playing in, so that added to it as well. And here is Michael Wacha. Grounded into a fielder's choice, and he's 0 for 1.
Not quite as accomplished hitter as these other starters. Up to 37 this year.
There's no doubt the Cardinals will get into the Reds bullpen, as Cody Reed is already at 75 pitches, and it is a much maligned bullpen. Historically bad first half. They feel, though, they're making progress.
Well, they have made progress.
Out in front of the plate, there is Tucker Barnhart to Votto for out number 2. Reminder that MLB.TV Premium is available to you. #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Talking about that bullpen for the Reds. Remember Hoover. Hoover is was their closer to begin the year, and he's been sent down, but they had a dubious major league record by giving up at least 1 run in 24 consecutive games.
Here's Tommy Pham back to the top of the lineup. Saw Jumbo Diaz last night throwing hard, but as hard as he may throw, it's all about location. It's been one of the issues with him. That's fouled back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pham is 1 for 2 tonight, grounded out to third and singled to left. First half 5.70 ERA. Second half so far the largest improvement in Major League Baseball. Get well wishes to Tommy and Colton Jarvis. Tommy resting comfortably back home along with Colton. Get well wishes to those two and see you at the ballpark soon as Pham falls down as he fouls it back. Let's hope he's all right. Slow to get back up. Think about Tommy Pham. All the talent in the world, just can't catch a break sometimes with the injuries.
Yeah, one of the better athletes on the Cardinals ball club. Ball just jumps off his bat though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. 1-2 pitch. Inside to Pham. He gets on a hot streak. It is quite a roll. His cold streaks, tough to watch. It's one or the other, and they are extremes. 2-2. Held on to by Tucker Barnhart. First strikeout for Cody Reed and a 1-2-3 top of the 4th. 4-2 St. Louis. Tonight with a pair of doubles, couple of RBIs, and his impact has been felt. This is game 2 since returning from the DL. With more on that, let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, Dan, Moss missed 23 games with that ankle sprain. Made his return last night, went 3 for 5 with a homer and a double. 2 doubles tonight. Brandon said of his return, quote, "I expect to go 3 for 5 every night for the rest of the season." Now, of course, he was kidding, but Moss told me he was actually surprised. He was so comfortable at the plate last night. As he put it, time off never helps my swing. Never. Moss said his recovery took longer than he anticipated because there was lingering pain for that final hurdle, which was running the bases. He said the toughest part of the injury was being away from his teammates, especially Jed Jerko.
Oh, of course, Jed Jerko. There's a fly ball out to left. And Jimmy, while we have you, as Scott Schebler flies out to left, how about an update on Matt Carpenter? It looks like he's fitting in nicely right now in his rehab assignment.
Yeah, he's playing well on his rehab assignment, and Mike Matheny said they're keeping an eye on him, and they expect him to be back with the Cardinals when they get back home on Friday. And he said could be second base, could be third base, Dan.
All right, we'll see. Cardinals also promoted one of their top young pitchers in Luke Weaver to AAA. Number 2 prospect for the Cardinals. Weaver in many ways has had a better year than Alex Reyes.
Yeah, he's a little more advanced in the fact of throwing strikes, going deeper in the game, controlling the counts.
Amon De Jesus Jr. hits it to third baseman Jed Jerko, and the tag there by Moss. Weaver 6-3, 1.40 ERA in 12 AA starts.
I remember in spring training, you know, he was very well thought of by the veteran pitchers, and kind of hung around them and got much information as he could. See him vacate the bag, but he makes the tag up the line. But there's two, you know, when you think of Reyes and also Weaver, might be a wake-up call to Reyes too if Weaver were to get a call ahead of it.
Ground ball, that is a fair ball. Handled there by Moss off the bat of Tucker Barnhart, who is 0 for 2 tonight, and a quick bottom of the 4th for Michael Wacha. Look at the wild card. All these games, Pittsburgh, Colorado, St. Louis, Miami, Los Angeles, all very big games concerning the wild card. The Dodgers put Clayton Kershaw to the 60-day disabled list, so he's eligible to return on August 27th. That is huge.
Long time out with a back injury. How long is it going to take him to get back into pitching shape?
Here's Jed Jerko. First pitch is foul. Jerko is 1 for 2 tonight. Doubled and scored back in the first. Cardinals jumped out to a 4-0 lead. Then in the bottom of the first, Cincinnati came back with 2 of their own, and that's where we stand right now in inning number 5. The Reds have been one of the better teams since the All-Star break. They've won 11 of 16. To .688 winning percentage. Third behind the Rockies and the Tigers.
Well, then too also, Dan, you look at the Reds, Milwaukee, clubs like that, they'd love nothing better than knock off the Cardinals. Play that spoiler rule.
I think they'd like to knock off the Cardinals more so than maybe other teams that are going for that wild card. Cardinals are kind of like the Patriots or the Spurs.
Well, but you know, by the same token, I was talking with Walt Jocketty, and he was saying how tough it is for anybody to root for the Cubs. But you know, a lot of clubs don't like the Cubs and what's going on now. They're with their financial windfall that they can do things that, you know, some of the other clubs in the Central Division can't do. I thought that was very interesting.
2-2 in the dirt. Cubs win on a walk-off today with a wild pitch thrown by A.J. Ramos and Miami. (3-2). Jerko with a high fly ball lifted out to right field. Schebler is back at the wall. He leaps and he took a home run away. Shades of Jay Bruce in right field.
Doing a good impersonation right now, isn't he?
Outfield assist, took a home run away. The walk-off homer last night, and he robs Jed Jerko.
Got that glove up over the wall.
Great catch.
No fan interference, and Reed loves it. Now, the one thing about Schebler, too, is they say he can run. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. I was surprised when I saw him in the cage.
Piscotty out to left field, and Schebler won't get this one. Way out of here. Home run. Stephen Piscotty with home run number 15, RBI number 60.
The 9th start for Reed, and that's the 11th home run that he's allowed. As you said, that one was deep, and no fielder was going to take and bring that one back.
Second run scored for Stephen Piscotty as now time is called. And that'll get the bullpen active of Cincinnati. Piscotty's measured at 427 feet.
Get his arms extended, and there you see, you give it a big ride.
And the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes on Holiday, who's hit by a pitch and also singled. 5-2 St. Louis here in the top of the 5th. Matt with that base hit back in the 3rd, tried to extend it to a double, was thrown out by Schebler. Here's a 2-1. Holiday hits it sharply past the diving shortstop Ivan De Jesus Jr. And it's a base hit into left. Greater coverage of Major League Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. These are the updated standings. Chicago with a win, so they're 9.5 in front of St. Louis as we play right now. 11.5 in front of Pittsburgh. Washington a 7-game lead. San Francisco with a 2-game lead over LA. But the wild card, Dodgers, St. Louis, and Miami. Those would be the 3 teams right now.
That was tough, Danny, today when you're watching Miami and Chicago. Is who do the Cardinals root for? You'd love to think that you could still win the Central Division. I don't think we've seen any reason why we think we can. But the wild card is right there for you, too.
You get to that point in the season, you want to be realistic about it.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of times, realistic goal is if you could pick up 1 game a week, that's still doable. But it just hadn't seemed like we've been consistent enough to go on a long enough winning streak to catch the Cubs.
It's frustrating too. Right around the All-Star break, the Cubs had a little bit of a downturn. Cardinals had a chance to gain ground and did not do it. Here's Moss, who is 2 for 2. Strike 1, and catches the home plate umpire Scott Berry. Berry calling the balls and strikes. Adam Hamari down at first. Tom Hallion, the crew chief, at second. Phil Cuzzi is over at third. Moss to second. Phillips flips out there, and the turn. barehanded catch by DeJesus Jr. over to Votto for the double play. 4-6-3 on the double play. Jerko had a home run. It was taken away. This one, not so much. Piscotty with home run number 15. Extends a lead, 5-2 St. Louis. Piscotty home run moments ago, his 15th, 60th RBI. So Josh Smith is in their bullpen, is going to hit. So he'll pinch hit for Cody Reed. May tell you about what they have on their bench in terms of Zach Cozart. Is he unavailable? Very well could be. You've got Billy Hamilton, backup catcher, and one other position player. Interesting move though here.
And by the way, he is 0 for 2. So it's not like he has a history of being a hitter.
Adam Wainwright with a home run yesterday. Seems if he puts the ball in play, it's an extra base hit.
All of his hits this year have been extra base hits, and I like the fact he's got 11 RBIs. It's the most since Bob Forsch had 11 RBIs. Second home run of the year.
Look at this. Smith inside the third base line and extra bases, a leadoff double. And that's how we start play here in the bottom of inning number 5.
Something that Michael Wacha has given up an awful lot of doubles this year.
Al told you about some of the numbers earlier in our telecast. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Michael Wacha, lowest opponent average at the Great American Ballpark, came in at 185. Hamels, Greinke, Dave Williams, who pitched in the NL Central among a few of his stops along the way, one of those being Pittsburgh.
And that was a 38th double in 137 hits that Wacha has allowed.
His pitch count is at 72. He is due up 4th for the Cardinals. Barring that long first inning, he's been okay here tonight.
Yeah. Smith hit was just the second since the first inning.
Fourth inning, only a 5-pitch inning for Michael Wacha. And the 2-0. Tyler Holt has singled and scored. Singled off the glove of Jed Jerko back in inning number 1, and also He walked as you get a look at the Chevy Fox tracks. Big gap in left center field. This would be a night that you'd love to see Wacha go a little deeper in this game because of all the usage of the bullpen in game 1. Jerko, tough play, do or die, and out at first.
Very nice play right there. And not a bad idea by Holt. Had the runner out at second base. Drops down a bunt. It's going to be up to the execution of the defense. You get the runner over to third, and he's a leadoff hitter. He's not a guy that's supposed to drop it in, but he drops his bunt down and took a fine play by Jerko. Do or die, pick it up, and throw to get him out at first.
Good play.
More of those, examples of what we have said, that Jerko playing all over the diamond has been a pleasant surprise defensively.
One out runner at third. And here is Suarez, who has singled and scored and also fly to center field. Outfield is straight away. The corners are in for the Cardinals, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Suarez, who's at the plate right now, he really helped out Reed with some outstanding plays over at third, and Jerko's made a couple to help out Wacha. Exactly what you want to do, fall behind the count 3-0 with Votto on deck.
And the 3-0 pitch. Suarez was swinging away and fouled it back. Power stats brought to you by Kubota. Duvall with 26 home runs, second most in the National League. Then Bruce, who's now a Met. Joey Votto, then Suarez, who's at the plate, and Zach Cozart. 3 balls, 1 strike. Now 3-2.
Hopefully we won't see Cozart in this brief 2-game set. Yesterday before bang practice, or during bang practice, he injured his thumb. High pitch there called strike, running at count full.
A lot of talk that he would be a Seattle Mariner.
Yeah, there's those reports.
And he struck him out. Suarez having words with the home plate umpire. So Wacha gets a key strikeout. That's number 3 tonight.
Up in the zone a little bit, but fine. Third strikeout.
He starts with Michael Wacha. It just seems like he grinds through them.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as smooth as a couple of years ago. And a couple of years ago he was an all-star, and he's made the adjustments again, being a veteran, but he's grinding through these starts here in August.
Use your head now with Votto up. Trouble with Votto is you try and widen the strike zone. Well, he'll accept the walk, but not the worst thing if you feel you can get Duvall, who's on deck, out.
1 ball, 1 strike. Votto extended his hitting streak with an RBI single back in the first to 17 games in a row.
Just an RBI, or not an RBI machine, but just an on-base machine.
Came in at .425, that on-base percentage. The 1-1.
I'm fooling these hitters right now on pitches that are up in the zone. But Votto hit .213 in May. Or through May.
Goes down to get it and hits it back to Wacha. Plenty of time. Gathers himself and makes the play. So with a runner at third and just 1 out, Wacha pitches out of that jam. It stays 5-2 as we head to the 6th. Cardinals Braves game. It's this Sunday, and this year's featured speaker, World Series MVP of 06, David Eckstein. For tickets and more information, visit cardinals.com/Christian Day. And again, that's presented by Thrivent. We may look back at that sequence. 3-0 on Suarez, comes back to strike him out with a runner at third and only one out. And then Votto coming up, grounding back to Wacha as being one of the key moments in this game.
Never know. Well, it's our Chevy call the bullpen, but Josh Smith stays in the game. Remember, he pinch hit last inning, got the double, and was stranded on the bases.
First pitch, a low strike to Peralta. 18th appearance, 27 innings, 27 hits allowed. 5-2 Cardinals. Peralta in this game has come up twice with runners at second and third and only one out. With the infield drawn in, he's grounded out to De Jesus Jr. Got the man at the plate both times. Fastball misses, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Josh Smith is kind of their long man. He's been pitching most of the time, comes in for multiple innings. 11 of his last 14 appearances, he threw more than 1 inning.
Lifted in the air out to center field. Tyler Holt is there and makes the catch. First man retired here in the 6th inning. Matt Bowman starting to throw. Well, if you're Mike Matheny, one of the things he may be thinking about right here is if you can squeeze another inning out of Michael Wacha if the Cardinals go in order. Wacha due up 4th in this inning. Or maybe it's just that Matt Bowman, you're coming in and get ready for the bottom of the 6th. You do have Duvall coming up, Phillips and Schebler. No balls and a strike on Yadier Molina. 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Molina trying to also make this 9 straight games with a double, in addition to making it 17 straight with a base hit. Hit to short, backhanded by Ivan De Jesus Jr. puts him away. And the first 2 have been retired. Hyundai pitch arsenal here for Josh Smith as you get a look at Greg Garcia, who singled with the bases loaded first time up. That scored 2. Fastball, slider, curve, and change for this right-hander. Greg 1 for 2 on the night. It's the start tonight at second base.
Big hit. 2-run single in the first inning. Gave the Cardinals the 3rd and 4th runs. How much improvement for him defensively also.
Playing around the diamond, whether it be second base here tonight, shortstop, which was really the big position the Cardinals were trying to figure out as to whether or not he could play that every day at this level. As Matt Adams has moved to the on-deck circle.
I think he's answered that, hasn't he?
I think so.
But if you're going to be a utility player, the real question mark is, can you play shortstop? If you can't, you're really not, going to be that valuable. But if you could play shortstop along with second and third, then all of a sudden you have some value, and his ability to get on base is another real big asset.
The 2-1 hit out of play. I say it all the time. He finds a way to get on base. Hit by pitch, walk, and it seems like he comes up in key moments and delivers.
Yeah, and I think too, sometimes pitchers don't give guys like this due credit. And they concentrate on the big names in your lineup and say, well, I got to bear down on them, and then they kind of relax a little bit against guys like Greg, and they take advantage. Got to know the strike zone, got to know your strengths. Can't be afraid to hit with 2 strikes. Work the count, and usually if you're patient enough, you're going to get a pitch that you can drive. And you may not do it every time, but you put yourself in position.
May have chased a ball on 3-2, tapped it foul.
But you know it's too close, and so
Yep.
you got to, you know, that special knack how to just foul a ball off and keep the bat alive.
Now time is called. We'll see in Adams at the on deck circle. Makes you think as Bowman continues to throw that Matt would be coming in. We'll see. 3-2 pitch. And he walked him.
Guess what? He's coming in.
This one is short. So a 2-out walk to Garcia, and it brings in Adams.
But there is what we're talking about Garcia. You know, as an 8th place hitter, stands the inning, brings up, you know, a power hitter who's had great success against Cincinnati in his brief career. And you know he's a threat in this ballpark, definitely.
So Michael Wacha gives the Cardinals 5 innings, 85 pitches here tonight, and now it's Adams. 2 outs, runner at first, 5-2 St. Louis. First pitch, a ball. Matt Adams as a pinch hitter this year has been very good. 9 for 22, couple of home runs. He's driven in 8. Short lead at first. The shift is on the infield. Two and 0. It's the 1998 team that held the all-time record until last night of pinch hit home runs. 2-1.
Matt is second, tied for second. St. Louis all time with 6 pinch hit home runs.
You think about it, the Cardinals have really spread that around. 6 different players have hit home runs in the pinch this year. Hazel Baker with 3, Moss with 3, Adams 2, Diaz with 1, and Garcia and Pham each with 1 apiece.
That's also hit 409, 9 for 22 as a pinch hitter with 8 RBIs.
One is pulled foul.
And you kind of wonder what his value would be on the market. Matt Adams. I'm sure there's a lot of clubs that would love to give him the 600 at bats and just see what the numbers might be.
I think a lot of clubs look at him as a DH, but you know the Cardinals have double switched with him for defensive purposes. He plays a very nice first base.
Exactly.
Garcia was off with the pitch with 2 outs and a 3-2 count. A lot of interchangeable parts on this team. So when Moss gets hot, where do you put Adams?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like, you know, you got Carpenter coming back, and Mike Matheny's going, well, I can't guarantee he's going to be second base or short or third base. But for a player, he would like to know that it's one or the other and play steady at one position.
Adams is called out on strikes. Cardinals strand a runner. It's 5-2. Cardinals with a lead of 5-2. He went 5 with 85 pitches, 6 hits, couple of runs, both were earned, walked 1, 3 strikeouts along the way. One aspect of this game he's going to look back on and say, all right, got the job done here. 5th inning, fell behind 3-0 on Suarez, came back to strike him out. Then Votto with a runner at 3rd. Got him to ground out. So runner at 3rd, less than 2 outs, and pitched out of trouble last inning.
Might be the first time in the last 3 or 4 starts that he didn't get drilled by a
That's a
comebacker.
positive.
Yeah, that's a positive too.
His right heel has been spared.
Exactly.
Here's Adam Duvall, who is 0 for 2. This is our Chevy call to the pen. Matt Bowman, his stock is rising late in this season.
Rule 5 pick, and now he's one of the more reliable relievers for Mike Matheny. Unfairly was credited with a loss on Sunday with the misplay in the left field with 2 outs.
That was a tough loss to swallow for the club.
Yeah, they're waiting right now. It looks like the ribbon board and above the batter's eye is lit up. Maybe that's not it.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Good sinking action. He's got that run that goes in on the righties.
And it bores in. You have to be, you know, if you play catch with somebody like this, it'd be a heavy ball. It feels like instead of a baseball, you're playing catch with a shot put.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Change up in the dirt, 2-2. Want a great deal on tickets? Fill up at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more. Now until September 29th. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. The 2-2. The fly ball out to shallow right near the line. Piscotty over. That's a fair ball as he went sliding for it. Duvall now on his way to 3rd. Throw by Steven. Threw it away. Into the stands. And it is a dead ball. One will score. Duvall makes it 5-3.
Scotty has been so good out in right field and has made so many great plays. And this one, makes contact with it in fair territory, slides right there, and it looked like he hit him in the heel, and then he ejects out. By the time he gets it, strong throw, but offline, and it goes into the stands.
So it's a triple, and then Rue there. Bowman doing everything he could to get the ball back.
Right. See Mike Matheny.
Mike can argue all he wants. He's not going to win this one.
The ball bounced in there, and it wasn't a fan interfering with play. That ball bounced in there, and he tried to take it out of his glove.
Somewhere the fan from last night is nodding in approval. Well,
he reaches over.
Yeah, that's
he
what he's
reached
going to
over
say.
the wall. But the question is, you know, it looked like it bounced over the wall initially. I think you're going to lose this one. They're going to check it.
I don't know, Al. I mean, it popped up, and then you see the fan have to reach over the wall. And he may have an argument with this one. Interesting call either way.
Yeah.
Bowman's going to have to grab a baseball and autograph an apology letter. See right there, but there's that signage that sticks out. I'm not sure he's going to have an argument with this one.
And you know, it's interesting that all 4 of them got together like it was not a reviewable play. Tom Hallion on your left is the crew chief. Cuzzy on the right.
So we'll show it one more time. So it hops up. There's the signage.
I guess Mike is alleging that he shouldn't have been awarded home. They're saying there was no fan interference, so the runner scores. Mike's saying there was fan interference and the runner should be held at third base.
Sure, if there's fan interference, runner was at third, he would stay there. If not, he scores.
Why not try it?
The ruling on the field is a triple with an error on Piscotty, but that could be changed as well, potentially.
Find out.
And he'll be back to third.
Nice going, Mike. Now Brian Price wants an interpretation. All plate umpires, Scott Berry said, go to the crew chief. Don't talk to me.
There's Lou Piniella on the left there.
I was talking to Lou before. He's a senior attendant, lieutenant for all jock hierarchy of the Reds. Really got a good tan going. All right, double an error or triple an error and no movement. They're taking the error away.
Yeah. So it's a triple, no error on the play, and here is Brandon Phillips, and all that time Bowman is just standing out on the mound. So runner at third and nobody out. First pitch taken inside. Phillips with a base hit back in the third, then was picked off. Rounded out in the first, but did pick up an RBI, and at that time in the game it was 4-2. Cardinals add their 5th run on a Stephen Piscotty home run. Ground ball, base hit. RBI number 2 on the night for Brandon Phillips.
Brandon Phillips is happy about that. Gets a second RBI, up to 39. But Bowman, more than 60% of the time, hitter's going to ground into a ground ball.
That's the kind of play too that Piscotty, I'm sure, is kicking himself. It was a tough play, but one that he makes.
Yeah, and he'd be the first to tell you he should have made that play.
Now it's Schebler representing the tying run. Off the end of the bat, little squibber that rolls foul. Schebler has singled, also flied out to left.
Clubs like the Reds that are rebuilding, you get a lead, you got to keep on adding on to it. But if you let them hang around, they can play you very, very tough.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. All kinds of room open on that left side of the infield. That's as pronounced a shift the Cardinals will put on for anybody. Here's a 1-1. There's your ground ball. How about 2? Garcia, Jerko on to first. It's a double play, but the Reds, I'm sure, will take a hard look at this. Was Jerko on the bag on the turn at second base. That is your third baseman that is making the turn on the double play because of the shift.
Yeah, so 4-5-3. Kind of a high throw, and it looks like he's not on the base. Gonna get the out at first, but
no double play anymore is a sure thing.
now we're going to have another replay.
I think this will go in the Reds' favor.
I agree. Every other one, huh?
That is not foreign territory there for Jed Jerko. Played a number of games and innings at shortstop. Throw was a little high, but he's off the bag. Fans have just seen it up on the video board, and their reaction is that the runner, Brandon Phillips, will be safe at second base.
It'll be a relatively quick. Now Phillips saw it. He was standing around the first base bag, and he's going to run back out to second base.
This is some exciting stuff.
Let's see, 20 years from now, we'll have computers calling balls and strikes. We'll have robots running the bases so nobody gets hurt.
Randall Grichuk, by the way, with a home run in the third inning for Memphis tonight.
Like I said, you know, he went down with the right attitude. He knew that it was the best for him to go down, play every day, and he goes down and lets his great overall talent take over. You know, he'll be back.
That's his 6th home run in 16 games with Memphis this year.
And also remember, he believed it would have to be at least 16 RBIs in those 16 games. So he's safe at second. He made that call 5 minutes ago.
Yep. Major League Baseball concerned with pace of play. If I'm Mike Matheny, I'm concerned about my pitcher on the mound that's had to stand through 2 prolonged delays to review these plays.
But he doesn't have to just stand there. You know, he has the right to throw and play catch, keep loose with his catcher. As a Princeton graduate, you think he would, if he wanted to, he would take those throws, but apparently he doesn't need to.
Ivan De Jesus at the plate. Runner at second is Phillips. Strike one. You know, you think about some of the little things that have happened here tonight. Runner at third, less than 2 outs, twice could not bring him in.
And Dan, you got
some of the defensive plays not being made.
Yeah, you had the infield in on those 2 ground balls where they threw the runner out at the plate.
Right. Pitch taken high. We're just not used to seeing a Cardinal team play in this type of fashion. Usually very, very good at executing defensively. 1-1 pitch. That's it out of play.
Trapped off, but Pham stays in the rundown long enough to get runner at second and third. Here's another one. You got the infield in. Trying to score. Second time, both of them to short. Cut off at the plate. Holiday tried to stretch a single into a double. That's happened way too often this year to the team, running into outs on the base paths. 80 errors.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Base hit. Here comes Phillips. He'll score. And it's now a 5-4 St. Louis lead. They don't turn the double play. It turns into a run.
Boy, how many times has that happened? Where double plays that should be turned aren't turned and come back to burn you. We'll see another ground ball, but Bounces it through the left side. Three hits in the inning.
You think about the ball that could have been caught by Piscotty in right, then the base hit by Phillips. Schebler hits into what should have been a double play. Bowman, for all intents and purposes, should be out of the inning. Here's Tucker Barnhart. Michael Lorenzen is getting loose in the Reds' pen.
Look at Barnhart, the catcher. How about Mesoraco? Last year I think he played in 23 games and then was gone for the season. This year it was even less before he was hurt and out for the year with a shoulder injury.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Also dealt with concussion issues. Changeup drops in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Double play ball. Peralta, Garcia, double play. 6-4-3 on the double play. Reds pick up a couple. They've out hit the Cardinals 9-8. It's 5-4 as we head to the 7th. Inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So it'll be Tommy Pham and the top of this lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. Pham, Jerko, and Piscotty. Cardinals clinging now to a 1-run lead.
Josh Smith out for his 2nd inning of work. We have been very productive in our home run inning. Love to see us break open here.
So Tommy Pham is singled to left. He's grounded out to 3rd and also struck out swinging in the 4th. Rips that foul. Whoa. What a play. I'm telling you what, with the way that some of the defense has been played this year, sign her up.
She didn't have any chance, but she made a nice play. There's a rocket coming right at her. And
didn't even
act like she's been there before, right?
No big deal.
Girl.
You could see, though, she was like, please, please be a foul ball.
Hit my glove.
Make sure that's foul. Okay, good. Yeah, I made that play. No big deal.
my 20 years in the future, there'll be a female baseball player.
Really? Could happen. You never
Could
know.
happen. Why can't it?
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Tommy Pham. On its way. Ooh, just a bit high. Happy 59th birthday to Paula Ellis. Never misses a game on Fox Sports Midwest. That's Paula Ellis. Right-hander throwing in the Cincinnati pen. 2-2 pitch to Pham. And he swings and misses and strikes out. So the second inning work for Smith. He has struck out 2. He's walked 1, has not allowed a base hit. That's the pitch they talk about with him that can be very good.
Slider off the plate. Tommy expanded his zone, got himself out. Jerko last time up looked like it was going to be another home run for Jerko, but was brought back in by Shepler.
High fly ball lifted down the left field line, and it's hooking foul. That was a hanging breaking ball that said hit me.
Yeah, most of the time Jerko, when he jumps on that first pitch, it's a fastball, but if you get a hanger, you can adjust to that one real easy too. A little home run distance, but just to the wrong side of the foul pole.
Here's an 0-1 pitch. Off the end of the bat. Votto stays down on it. Flips to Smith for the out. So with 2 outs and nobody on, it brings in Piscotty, who is homered tonight. Scored a couple of runs. Arcia in the driver's seat. Cardinals with 9 games this year, 4 or more home runs. From 12 through 15, 9 total. What's interesting about the 9 this year, the Cardinals have actually lost a couple of games in which they've had 4 or more home runs.
2 times, including last night.
Breaking ball and a strike.
Hard to do, isn't it?
You hit 4 home runs, usually you win. There's no doubt.
Well, one of the things that contributed was all 4 of them were solo shots, right?
Here's an 0-1 pitch. See, that's the pitch right there that Smith got Pham on. And that strike off Piscotty, and here's his home run from back in the 5th. Home run number 15, RBI number 60. Here's an 0-2. Right down the middle, looking for something else. Good work by Smith out of the pen, and it's time to stretch. The Cardinals with a lead by a run. It's 5-4. ticket to get an Aaron Miles bobblehead. That's Tuesday, July 19th, the celebration of the 06 team. And purchase a VIP Bud Bash ticket for an exclusive pregame event with Aaron and the Budweiser Bow Tie Bar. Tickets at cardinals.com/budbash. This is our Chevy call to the pen, Zach Duke, who was picked up at the trade deadline, and he will face a pinch hitter, Tony Renda, for Cincinnati.
Made his Cardinal debut last night, and he'll pitch much better.
And the first pitch is popped up. Garcia, foul territory. One pitch, one out.
You could be a 10-year vet, whatever it is, like Duke, and still, the first time you come to a new ball club, you try to do too much. His control was a little bit off yesterday.
2 innings for Smith. He struck out 3. And 1 walk, no hits allowed. So good work in those 2 innings. And it brings in the top of the lineup and Tyler Holt. The Passmore family reunion is here tonight, led by Kyle and Lauren. I want to say hi to family and friends back home in St. Louis. In particular, they say hello to Justin, who couldn't be here tonight, but that's the Passmore family reunion.
See, 54 appearances, 53 with the White Sox. That was leading the American League.
And a strike.
And Dan, it was right here where he reinvented himself in the Cincinnati organization and pitching at Louisville. By his own admission, he failed as a starter with the Pirates, but decided, okay, I can drop down a little bit, see if I can become a left-handed reliever, and he's resurrected his career.
Righties, lefties, used in all kinds of situations, and that is a nasty breaking ball. This is about as good as it gets here from Zach Duke. Look at that.
And normally when you throw a side-on breaking pitch, you're thinking you're throwing it to a left-handed batter, but there, if he has the confidence to throw it the back foot of a right-handed hitter, change of speed, a little bit of a, it's not that so much where he's looking for a strikeout, but looking for weak contact.
Suarez. Yeah, Duke was more of an over-the-top lefty, and he changed his arm angle. That has led to his success, in particular against lefties. But he's faced as many righties as he has lefties, so not just a specialist. And there's a strike at the knees. He's gotten the first 2. Suarez is 1 for 3. Matter of fact, right-handers hitting just 176 against Zach Duke.
A lot of times you'll see that from starters, that they have more success against right-handed pitchers, left-handed starters, because they see so few, left-handed batters, or the ones they see are the Votto types, Carpenter types. They're going to play against Koufax and Kershaw and anybody else that comes up against them. But in a lot of ways, you better be able to get the other side of the plate out, because you're going to see so many pinch hitters.
2-2 is hit to short. There's Peralta to his left. Zach Duke, a 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th. 5-4, Cardinals on top. 8th inning rolls in when we come back. former first-round pick in 2013, an outfielder and a pitcher from Cal State Fullerton. That is Michael Lorenzen. This will be his 13th appearance.
He had some elbow issues, put him on the disabled list. Really limited his spring training outings. He had one spring training appearance. Sprained right elbow. Off the disabled list June 22nd, made his season debut 2 days later versus San Diego.
So here's Holiday, who is 2 for 2, on base 3 times, was hit by a pitch. Moss on deck, and then Johnny Peralta. Is Zach Duke going to be a 1-inning pitcher? The Cardinals go back to their bullpen again to get the final 6 outs. There was strike one at Holiday. He didn't like that one bit. Home plate umpire said he went. Holiday wanted him to check with the first base umpire, to no avail. Once the home plate umpire calls it, it's in the books. 0-2 the count. Lorenzen, a very spiritual man. Tattoos of Bible verses up and down his forearm. See it there on the left arm. And a strikeout of Holiday.
I didn't like that one either. That ball started outside, but then came across the plate.
1 out, nobody on.
First strike was definitely inside, and the second strike was on the black outside.
Shift on here for Brandon Moss. First pitch to him. Ground ball. 2 outs. It was the shortstop on the shift, so it goes 6-3 on that. Put out. And with 2 outs, it brings in Peralta. Peralta was the first man that Smith saw, and there's a look at Kevin Segrist. Gave up a home run last night. Tall lefty getting loose.
And it used to be where you couldn't wait to get into the bullpen of the Reds, but we documented how it's so much better now. Gaining more and more confidence. This will be the 3rd inning for the bullpen today, and we're still looking for our first hit. Just one base runner, a walk to Garcia.
1-0 pitch. 96. 2 balls and no strikes. Pulled foul. Watch tomorrow's early start against the Reds on your phone, tablet, computer, if you're away from TV. You can't see it on Fox Sports Midwest. Get the free Fox Sports Go app. Watch at foxsportsgo.com. Stream the Cardinals wherever you go.
Early start, right?
Very early St. Louis time. 11 o'clock with our pregame show on the air with the play-by-play at 11:30 St. Louis time. Wrapping up a long road trip for the Redbirds. 3-1 pitch to Peralta. Hit to short. Ivan De Jesus Jr. in the tag. No, they did not apply the tag. Votto, though, running off the field. And they're going to say that Peralta was out of the baseline.
Correct. Mike's going to say, oh, well, you had to give him an opportunity to avoid the tag. And it really looked like he never left the dirt area, did he? Boy, you can't say that that's Adam Hamari, their first base umpire, said he's out of the baseline. He was still inside the chalk line. third replay.
So I think Phil Cuzzi is saying he was out, then came back in.
Well, every right-handed batter almost has to start on the grass. You know, just their normal leaving the batter's box, they're gonna be running on the grass, and then they alter the motion as they go down the line to get into their running lane.
So he's called out of the baseline, and Mike Matheny going to make a change here. We know Segrist is coming on, and we'll see if there's any other changes as well. So we move to the bottom of the 8th. Bullpen needs to get 6 outs. It's 5-4 St. Louis. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Raise 1-2 right now. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Our Chevy call to the pen takes us to Kevin Segrist. This will be part of a double switch. Segrist into the game. Holiday is out. Jeremy Hazelbaker takes over in left field. Joey Votto will lead it off here in the bottom half of the 8th. If the Cardinals wanted to, they could have kept Duke in to face Votto. However, if you're looking for the lefty-lefty matchup, the reason that you don't is that Votto 12 for 22 off of Zach Duke. So you understand why you make this change.
And Votto 1 for 10 off of Segrist.
That one hit was earlier this year, a walk-off homer.
Right, and he has walked him 5 times. But
fastball and a good one.
I'm sorry, I looked it wrong. It was, if you saw the graphic, 2 for 13 with a home run, 4 walks, 154 average off Segrist.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, and it's taken in the dirt. Votto tonight, RBI single in the first. He's grounded out to first and grounded back to the pitcher.
And, you know, Segrist worked very hard on that breaking ball to left-handed batters in spring training, and it's become an effective weapon for him.
Carved him up. Good fastball on the outside corner.
But what I also think is sometimes they have gone to that breaking ball with a right-handed batter. There's a good fastball down the way, gets him to chase. they've gone to the, his third best pitch against right-handed batters, and Duvall hit the home run off him yesterday on a hanging breaking ball. If you got a lefty up there, you can really let that breaking ball fly, and you're really not concerned. You almost want it to be a ball. But with a right-handed batter, you have a tendency to let it hang in the strike zone.
Fastball misses inside to Duvall.
But remember, Kevin has that great changeup, and that's the pitch that really has allowed him to get so many right-handed batters out, along with his good fastball.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Changeup may have telegraphed it a little bit with the arm motion.
It really seemed like he slowed it up, and the ball was just high enough that it became effective. But if you got that ball down a little bit, we might have a tie game.
One ball, one strike. Duvall with the triple, run scored back in the 6th.
Duvall came to the Reds in the Mike Leake trade. Late bloomer. He was a boomer this year. 26 home runs, 71 RBIs. He plays a good outfield too.
Three and one on Duvall. 26 home runs this year. Molina sets up inside. And he walked him. So the tying run is aboard. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. We know Brandon Phillips has pop, not to the tune of a few years ago, but 6 home runs, and you have to be careful with him. Second walk that the Reds have received tonight. The other was Holt back in the 2nd.
He's 2 for 10 off of Seegers.
Cardinals would love the double play, and here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a new wrinkle that Segrist has, as you mentioned, with that breaking ball, and some of these hitters, I think it surprises them when they see it. They know it's in his arsenal now with all the scouting reports, but getting that information then seeing for the first time is a different story.
Seeing it while you're in the batter's box looks a lot different.
Here's a 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And we talk about all the time how hitters try to take away pitches, meaning if you don't think a guy can throw a certain pitch for a strike, you don't worry about it. You still got to go up there looking fastball until you get 2 strikes and then protect.
Last home run for Brandon Phillips was all the way back on May 7th. He had 2 that day, none since. The 1-2 pitch from Kevin Segrist. Instead of check on the runner, Duvall at first. Duvall with 2 steals.
No, Phillips has 2 hits today and a couple RBIs and runs scored. It's 278 at bats since his last home run.
I realize that Duvall is your cleanup hitter, but you're running out of outs. And I just wonder if Brian Price has given any thought to the idea of Billy Hamilton pinch running for Duvall. It's something to think about.
And remember, Billy Hamilton has had great success against, it's say Yachty, but I think a lot of times we have to include the pitcher in there. But he's 14 out of 16 steal attempts with Yachty catching.
One-two pitch gets through Molina. The pitch in the dirt. Now Duvall in scoring position. 6 home runs, by the way, for Brandon Phillips. He hit 5 of the 6 in a 3-day period in May.
So rare to see a ball get through Yachty that's right between his legs. Wild pitch.
Here's a 2-2 pitch to Phillips. And a fly ball lifted out to shallow center. And the catch made by Tommy Pham. Duvall back into the bag at second base. Don't miss St. Louis's biggest office party and the workplace wellness event of the year. It's the Biz Dash, Thursday, September 15th at Ballpark Village. Live music, company tailgates, and more. Fox Sports Midwest presents the Friendly Industry Team Competition. So create your company team and join the fun by visiting stlbiz-.com. So key out there is Phillips. And here is Scott Schebler, who is singled, fly to left, and grounded out. The hero from last night. Last night it was a no-doubter against Seung-Hwan Oh.
Kept on getting fastballs and finally he turned on one. May was talking to me about Schebler and saying that he did play with Peterson and the Dodgers. He was in the Dodger organization for a while. He said there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. They have that kind of pull off a lot of pitches and uppercuts, but he felt like Schebler was a little more disciplined.
Jock Peterson burst onto the scene last year with the Dodgers, had that terrific first half.
Yeah. And then you find a weakness and you start exploiting it. It's the latest on Puig.
In the minors.
We did find him.
Oh yeah. 2-1 pitch right down the middle, 2-2.
There's an example of somebody not thinking fastball. If you're thinking fastball, you don't take that pitch right down the middle. Guessing, guessed wrong. It's a breaking ball, see if it bounces it. Ooh, hanger.
What's on tap is presented by Budweiser. Early start tomorrow. Mike Leake against Brandon Finnegan as our coverage begins at 11 St. Louis time.
Schebler wears a mouthpiece. Sometimes they do that to kind of relax a little bit. Some guys bite down so hard on their teeth and tighten up everything, so they think the mouthpiece can kind of loosen them up.
Hits it the other way. It is slicing, and that ball is foul.
Thank you.
Woo.
Not a lot of foul territory, but you just hope this would be foul, and it is. Schebler can run too, so that would have tied the score and put him in scoring position.
Seth Maness is throwing in the pen. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Strikeout for Segrist, and he keeps it 5-4 Cardinals. Big strikeout of last night's hero, Schebler. And the Cardinals lead it by a run as we head to the ninth. Molina trying to extend his hitting streak to 17. Thank you, guys. He walked in the first, grounded into a fielder's choice, grounded out 2 short.
It's 2 for 3 off Lorenzen, who's in his second inning of work.
Seung-Hwan Oh is throwing in the pen, and Molina is hit by the pitch. So the leadoff man is aboard.
Well, just took off. He hits him up on the bicep, left side. Greg Garcia off of Lorenzen is 2 for 3 with a home run. Take that, won't we?
And tonight, Garcia with a bases loaded single in the first inning and walked. Fastball misses in at 95.
Greg drove in 2 with that single in the first.
Hazelbaker, part of the double switch, is at the on deck circle. Ground ball slowly hit to the right side. Votto will get the lead man as Garcia will be a runner at first base. 2016 Cardinals Hall of Fame induction class has been selected. You can join the Cardinals and Edward Jones in congratulating Sam Braden, Terry Moore, Joe Torre, and Chris Carpenter. The 2016 Hall of Fame induction ceremony, August 27th at Fox Sports Midwest Live. And you can learn more at cardinals.com/HOF.
We got about 100 years to get all the qualified guys to go into the Hall of Fame.
There's a lot.
It really is.
Be a few more here in the next couple of years when you think about Pujols and certainly Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright. Check on Garcia.
It just seems like even the guys that are runners up, it's just a matter of time before they'll be going in. I think the Cardinals with 125 years of history, you know, for those so many guys that are worthy.
That's well hit into center. Over to make the catch, though, is Holt. That line drive off the bat of Hazelbaker, and back to first goes Garcia.
Warming up. Took the loss in yesterday's game. There is nothing worse for a closer to come in trying to save a game and then walk off with a walk-off base hit or a walk-off loss. It is it's the worst possible thing that can happen for a closer, and you can't wait to get back out there.
Hit the other way, and a base hit off the bat of Tommy Pham. Garcia stops at second base.
Would have gone to third easily if he didn't have to jump over the ball. So jumps over it. That kept him from going all the way to third. How's your vertical jump? Or the splits. Tommy Pham's second hit of the night.
This becomes a big at bat here for Jed Jerko. 2 outs and 2 on. Top of the ninth, 5-4 St. Louis.
1-for-1 off of this pitcher.
We talked about his success against the fastball, and this may be a good matchup for Jed Jerko. Doubled inside the third base line. Grounded out to third. Had a home run taken away in right field back in the 5th. And grounded out to first baseman Joey Votto. Hit sharply to third, and that sends us to the bottom of the ninth. Seung-Hwan Oh getting loose, getting ready. Can he close it out? We'll find out when we come back. After giving up the home run to Schebler last night, back in there 24 hours later, and this is our Chevy called to the pen.
7 of 9 save opportunities. ERA bumps up to 2.14. 54 plus innings, 34 hits, a lot of strikeouts, and he'll get 7, 8, 9 in the order.
So here we go in the bottom of the ninth. The Cardinals clinging to this 5-4 lead.
Danny O can't be more thankful to Mike Matheny putting him right back in there.
Ivan De Jesus Jr., the first batter. He has 1 home run this year. RBI single to left back in the 6th. Barnhart in the pitcher spot. And the 0-1 pitch. Broken back, ground ball that's hit to short. There's Peralta, one away. Post-game show with Scott Warman, Rick Ankiel coming up. Here's Barnhart. We mentioned earlier, 6 home runs on the season. 4 of the 6 have been hit from this side of the plate. Took something off that pitch at 72 miles an hour. One 0 pitch. Base hit in the right. Well, you would think this would be Billy Hamilton time. And he hops out of the dugout.
Yeah, there he is.
Hamilton, by the way, is 14 of 16 in stolen base opportunities against Yadier Molina. Molina this season at 24%. He started this year at 55% catching those base stealers. So it's the game within the game right here. Hamilton and Molina.
You know, the odd thing is that Hamilton was 10 for 10 before Yadi first threw him out, and that was with Broxton on the mound. So you would think that is very slow, deliberate to the plate. It would have been tough for Yadi, but part of the success that Billy Hamilton's had against Yadi is definitely because of pitchers. Not paying attention or slow to the plate, picking their spots. But he definitely can put pressure on the defense.
Ramon Cabrera. The major league average of catching base stealers is 29%. Hamilton with 36 steals this year. Not running. And a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hamilton's first Red player, at least 35 steals in 3 consecutive seasons.
You could see that Cabrera kind of gave a peek down to Billy Hamilton saying, all right, what are you waiting for? As he took that strike. He is leaning towards second.
That's it, Dan. And, you know, if you're going to put him in there, they're asking him to steal. Put himself out there in scoring position. Whereas the backup catcher.
Talk about pressure on defense, but also pressure on O. Sometimes a pitcher will get a little quicker to the plate, leave the ball up.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to pay too much attention there, that you alter your motion and don't have the same command.
It's a bigger lead now.
Yeah, not going.
Oh, just swipes at the baseball back from Molina.
Things I've always been impressed with Yadi, though, is he calls the game to get the hitter out, and not so much to call and protect his throwing percentage or call all fastballs easy pitches to unload on.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Hamilton is running. And a foul ball.
Good thing he fouled it off, because there would have been no shot for Molina.
Billy might have been at third. He got a great jump.
Big,
little hesitation,
big lead,
and then watch.
Yeah, his little stutter step right there, and still got down the line so quick. That's the thing about Lou Brock. At about his third stride, he was at full speed. And then Lou always slid feet first and would slide so late that so many middle infielders were afraid to put their glove down there. The reasons why you throw overs, you want to take the spring and the life out of the legs of a base stealer. Get him kind of conscious of going back to second and not taking that walking lead.
A little quicker to the plate this time, and a high fly ball. Pham calling for it, calls off Hazelbaker as he makes the catch. Hamilton still at first. And there are 2 outs. Brandon Moss is our Budweiser player of the game. 2 for 4, couple of doubles, pair of RBI, and 1 run scored. Brandon Moss, your Budweiser player of the game.
Holds here. Brandon will have the game-winning RBIs back in the first inning.
Billy Hamilton is there to run, and he's still at first base.
Yeah, it's. Hopefully he'll say, I just never felt comfortable.
There he goes. Throw by Molina to second. Not in time. Hamilton, the stolen base, number 37. And he is in scoring position. A couple of years ago, the Reds, in their stretch run, brought up Billy Hamilton. He was here for one reason, to do this in September.
But doing it with 2 outs. Yes, he's in scoring position, but O's in the driver's seat. All he has to do is get the hitter out.
Outfield not very deep. Here's a 1-0. Clearly very tough to get Hamilton. 2 outs, crack of the bat. He's off and running anyway. Even with the left fielder, center fielder, and to an extent Piscotty fairly shallow in the Cardinals outfield.
I don't think there's any of the outfielders can throw out Hamilton.
2-0 pitch, 2-1.
He has that ability when, if the count does get to 2 strikes, he can kind of look in. If he sees the swing started, he's off to the races. And unless he falls down, he could score on a single to the outfield.
Here's a 2-1 pitch by Seung-Hwan Oh. 2-2.
Good pitch right there. Like a good slider off the plate. That's picked by Molina. Soft hands.
Cardinals trying to hold on. 1-run lead here in the bottom of the ninth. Hamilton, your runner at second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Tyler Holt.
Managers have made their final plays. It's up to the execution of the players.
The 2-2 pitch. Instead, O steps off.
You see how humid it is with the perspiration on O.
The 2-2. Almost hit him.
Don't see O throw inside very often, but let's set up a slider right now. Slider off the plate. Get him to go fishing.
Three-two.
And I thought you brought up a very good point about last night with O. He's so good at throwing and working the outside part of the plate for hitters. And it seemed like if it was a right-handed batter, he wasn't getting the strike zone away. Left-handed batter, he wasn't getting it away. And it kind of forced his hand to come into the strike zone.
3-2 again. O on its way. Struck him out, and the Cardinals take game 2. The tying run at second base, winning run at the plate, and Seung-Hwan Oh, 24 hours later, picks up a much-needed save for the Cardinals as they hold on 5-4.
And he can take a deep breath now and realize that, done my job. And a big thank you to Mike to get him back out there as quick as he possibly could. Good ball game. I'd like to have scored more runs against the Reds, but they hold on.
Quick turnaround, back at it again tomorrow, 11 a.m. St. Louis time with the pregame show. O gets the strikeout. The Cardinals get the win. St. Louis now 57-50. Postgame show comes your way next.